Welcome to part 3 of this series, in which you are going to learn about the skill of hand tapping. During the program, you will learn to identify the various tools and equipment, identify taps, and use the tools to produce well-cut threads in metal workpieces. Although there are many varieties of taps, all necessary for various purposes, we shall be demonstrating this standard 4-fluted type. Hand taps are constructed with cutting faces accurately milled to replicate the pitch and profile of various thread types, forming what is known as the female thread. Let's learn the terminology of taps. The two main portions are the shank and the body. At the top of the shank is a square portion known as the drive square. Etched onto the shank is the coding. This identifies the size, thread type, and the material from which the tap is constructed. The body, if looked at in cross-section, consists of flutes and cutting faces. The width across a cutting face is known as the land. Taps are mostly obtained in sets. A set comprises of 3 taps, all similar in appearance. The difference between them is the length of the chamfer. A chamfer is the portion at the end of the body that is tapered or narrowed to provide a lead. The tap with the longest chamfer is called a roughing or taper tap. The next tap has less taper and is called a second or intermediate tap. The other tap has virtually 0 taper and is called a plug or bottoming tap. The procedure for tapping is to start a new thread using the taper tap and follow it through with the intermediate tap. In the case of a blind hole, the plug tap is used to cut the thread right to the bottom of the hole. Taps are turned into the work with a tap wrench, which is attached to the drive square. So, to review, a typical tap consists of the shank and the body with a drive square at the top of the shank. Coding on the shank identifies the size of the tap, the type of thread, and the material from which the tap is constructed. The body consists of flutes and cutting faces, the width of a cutting face being called a land. The 3 taps in a set differ in respect of the length of the chamfer. The tap with the longest chamfer is the roughing or taper tap. The second longest chamfer belongs to the second or intermediate tap, and the least chamfered is the plug or bottoming tap. The roughing and second tap are used to tap open holes, whereas the plug tap is used to tap right down into the bottom of a blind hole. Taps are turned via their drive squares with a tap wrench. After the break, we shall demonstrate the procedure for tapping a hole in a typical mild steel workpiece.